doesn't emit anything. Okay. Oh, lots of time. What I understood was eye consciousness will not create on a blind person. Sometimes that it can create something, but it's like a fantasy world. What is a blind person anyway? I remember this wonderful little story which I saw in a science magazine of this little kid who was born deaf. And he would always go to the doctor, to get a checkup, make sure the rest of him was okay. And then one day, when they went for his checkup, the doctor said, that new scientific discoveries have found there's a cause of deafness which actually can be cured. And I think, I'm not certain, but your son may have that reason why he's deaf. Can I please have your permission to do a little operation? I cannot guarantee this, but it may restore his hearing. If you were the parents of that little son, what would you say? You say, it's not dangerous, it's done for free. Can we do it? I said, oh yeah, give it a try. It worked. The son could hear. And the son was very angry at his parents. You never asked me. You assumed I wanted to hear. To me, it's just another noise. I have to start learning language and sound now. Sometimes we have assumptions. Of course, they didn't, the little kid couldn't hear. So they didn't understand what the conversation was all about. That had a profound effect on me. We assume that people want to have all their five senses. Do they? And anyway, the sense of sight, a blind person, will they have this imaginary sight, sense base? Anyway, oops, it's upside down as well. Dear Ajahn, letting go means not wanting anything. Does trusting the meditation process, knowing it will take me to jhana one day, someday, some year, some lifetime, means there is still wanting element which will hinder my progress? When you know what jhana is, it's not built of wanting. It's a very deep sense of letting go. So you're just not disturbed by anything. Sound of the aircon, you just can't hear it. Aches and pains in the body, you abandon them. You get so still, your five senses just turn off. And then you experience the jhanas, which are so much more beautiful. So, by wanting, it's not just another sense, sort of having a nice object to look at and to be with. This thing's actually totally vanishing. It's almost going to a default state. And everything else is let go of, and you have the jhanas. It's not something you add to in your life. It's something which happens once everything else vanishes and disappears. That's why when people do die, a lot of times they can see lights. Have you ever heard when somebody dies, sometimes their parents say, don't go towards the light. If your parents say that, it means they know you're about to die. Me, I don't mind dying. Please say to yourself, please go towards the light. And then if you can merge into that light, you experience the jhana. If you have some understanding of the Dhamma, when you come out of that jhanic experience, you may even become a streamer. Just like, again, quoting her again, Anita Mohajani, she understood why she had cancer. So when she came back into her body, she could transcend it. It disappeared. So that's That's what you can do. I don't know the jhana. Why do I have delusion? What is delusion? Why do I have greed? And then you can let it go. Encore for Lotus story, but without gong or nothing. Encore Lotus story. Wow, that is a very smart question. It's beyond me. So, anyway, you can ask it again if you wish tomorrow, because I don't actually understand what that really means. I heard from Theravada monks mention the age of Sakyamuni Buddha's teachings would only last 5,000 years. Is that correct? It is uncertain. They can say that only lasts 5,000 years simply because they won't be there to be embarrassed when it lasts longer. So now the teachings are flourished, which means they are well preserved. Exactly. So it could last a bit longer. Who knows? The Buddha never made predictions. Ajahn Brahm never made predictions, except for once. The only time Ajahn Brahm ever made a prediction. This guy came up to him and said, Ajahn Brahm, I've been looking after you, giving you food, offering my car to drive you wherever you need to go. I've been so faithful to building this monastery called Wat Pa Pong. And now I want to ask you, I know you can read my future. You know, you've got your powers. Can you please tell me what my future's going to be? You can read the lines in the palm of my hand. Ajahn Brahm said, we don't usually do that. I know you don't usually do that, but I've been looking after you, and I know you gave many a sermon on gratitude. I've looked after you. It's the first time I've ever asked for anything from you. Can you please read the lines on the palm of my hand? And the way he asked Ajahn Brahm, I said, okay, fair enough. It's always good to have gratitude. You have looked after me for so many years. Perhaps I can do that for you. So the guy was really excited. Some of you know the story. So excited when Ajahn Brahm started tracing the lines on his hand. Every now and again Ajahn Brahm would pause. Oh. Yeah, what is it? I'll tell you later. Not sure about that. And I thought, oh, well, amazing. And this poor guy was getting so wound up. And when Ajahn Brahm finished tracing all the lines on this guy's palm, what's my future going to be then? He said, listen, I will not tell any lies. He said, I know, you're honest. And I have read the lines on the palm of your hand. And I can now tell you honestly, and you'll find it's not a mistake. Yeah, I know it's not a mistake. You know, get on with it. I want to find my future. And he looked at this guy and said, sir, your future, your future is uncertain. And Ajahn Brahm was not wrong. I know what the weather's going to be tomorrow. Uncertain. Anyway, that's why Ajahn Brahm never predicted the future. And even the Buddha never predicted the future. A few times he was quoted as predicting the future. It was totally a dodgy teaching. Dear Ajahn, my husband passed away 2 years ago, and I still talk to his photo. Does he talk back at you? Husbands usually talk back at their wives. So, my husband passed away 2 years ago, and I still talk to his photo. Will this prevent his moving on, rebirth, etc.? When he was alive, he is a Buddhist, but too busy with work to practice. I transfer memories to him when doing dharana and the Theros chantings. Will this help him? Thank you. If it helps him, usually after 2 years, he'd probably be reborn by now. But it helps you. It helps everybody who hears that. You know, somebody who is important to you, your husband, maybe the father of your kids, and you still treat him with a sense of gratitude and kindness. My mother passed away how many years ago now? Maybe 45 years. Father passed away over 60 years ago. I always make the opportunity to share merit with them as much as I possibly can. I still remember my mother's favourite food. You know what it was? Sorry? No, not even. No, it was sausage and mash, bangers and mash. And there's one of the Thai ladies here. She basically brought up over in Australia, but she married a Thai guy. And there's Manissa, are you here? No. This is Manissa knows the family very well. And one day that she invited me for dharna at her house, and she offered me sausage and mash. So why do you offer me that? And then I looked at the calendar. It was the date of my mother's birthday. So I ate some and shared merits with my mum. Why she got that recipe, I'm not sure. But it was like a wonderful, I made use of it to remember my mother and sort of, share merits with her. So many years after she died. I still do that, I know how it works. Even if I've got a powerful mind, and if my mother doesn't receive it, because she's got reborn already, her latest rebirth, I can share it with that. It gets to her. It gets to me too. It feels so lovely that you can remember your mum and still do something for her. Same with my dad too. So it's great. I transfer merits to him when doing dharana and Theros chantings. Will this help him? It probably will, but it will certainly help you as well. How are you doing? You bored yet? Okay, what time is it? 11 o'clock? No, not yet. Dear Ajahn, that monk that you know who experienced the memory of being in a prison and smelling his mum after a deep meditation, of being not in a pram and smelling his mum after a deep meditation, where did he experience going and being when he asked earlier, please? That's what you do to actually, especially if you remember a previous life, and again, it's unpleasant. Imagine if you had, all the screenshots or the tapes of your previous life. Which ones would really stand out for you? A lot of times, your previous deaths. Because they're really intense experiences. And they're also very unpleasant. And I said this story because some of the students, they complained to me. They said, look, Ajahn Brahm, I did this, what's my earliest memory? And I got, my past life when I died. And that was not very nice. And can you please tell people what to do? If you're sitting in the hall here with a nice healthy body, you remember that what happened to you in the past when you died. You could be in a war, being blown up, or having your head cut off. And all these unpleasant deaths, when most deaths are unpleasant, what should you do if you start re-experiencing that? And of course the answer was, ask yourself, what earlier, please? And the mind is just, or the memory is just so obedient. It just goes back to an earlier memory, your previous life, which is easier to endure. You don't torture yourself. It's just basic compassion. Okay, one of these hypnotic regressions. It's a really good, really interesting one. There was a hypnotist over in Sydney, and she had the case that she was investigating, or he was investigating, was this young girl who was anorexic, and really badly anorexic, that she was killing herself, and the doctors couldn't help her, so they asked to see if they could hypnotize her to get her back to a past life. But she was so young, her mother had to be there with her. And as they were regressing this young girl, the young girl just, a long story, but it was about her previous life. She had fallen in love with this guy, and her elder sister had also fallen in love with him. And her elder sister was more attractive, so that guy chose the elder sister, and the younger sister was so heartbroken that she committed suicide. And now she's been reborn as a daughter of of her mum. And as this was being recounted, the mother started going hysterical. The poor regression psychologist, why are you going hysterical? And this woman said, because I was that sister. I never told my daughter that she had an auntie. I was embarrassed about that my younger sister committed suicide, the family secret. This is what happened. I had that sister, she fell in love with the guy I eventually married, and you can understand why. This young girl was so upset. She was trying so hard to be attractive, but she was hardly eating. She was anorexic. And why she managed to get reborn as her sister's daughter, to be close to the guy she really loved, her dad. You understand that? The true story. So sometimes rebirth can be really weird. Question to all the monks and nuns. Have any of you attained the first jhana? If yes, how long have you been practicing being a monk or a nun? You know that sometimes I say, I know a monk who. That's because it's one of our rules. Even if it's true, we're not allowed to tell people. So what we do is we say, I know a monk or a nun who did this, did that. And we don't say anything like that, because if you have attained a first jhana, it does give you special abilities. And of course, all of you would want to be taught meditation by a person who had attained jhanas. And you want to listen to their Dhamma talks. And that just gives them so much stress that they die young. Do you want to kill the monks and the nuns? So sometimes it's not good to ask that question. But of course some do.